He noticed her suitcases first. 3 of them lined up on the front porch like soldiers waiting for orders. Her stomach dropped. She sat in her car for a long moment, windshield wipers beating back and forth, her mind refusing to process what her eyes were seeing. She had been in Chicago for 3 days for a marketing conference. Derek knew she was coming home today. They had texted that morning. He had sent her a heart emoji. She had sent one back. Naomi turned off the engine and stepped out into the rain. Her heels clicked against the wet pavement as she walked toward the house she had lived in for 5 years. The house where she had planned to raise children. The house where she had painted the kitchen yellow because Derek said it made him happy. The front door opened before she reached the porch steps. Patricia stood there, Derek's mother, wearing her usual expression of thinly veiled disapproval. But today there was something else in her face. Satisfaction. "You can take your things and go," Patricia said. Her voice was flat and cold. Naomi stopped walking. "Excuse me? You heard me." Patricia stepped onto the porch, pulling the door closed behind her. "Derek wants a divorce. We've packed your belongings. You need to leave." The words hit Naomi like a physical blow. "Where's Derek? I want to talk to him." "He doesn't want to talk to you." Patricia crossed her arms. "He's done with this marriage. We all are." Robert, Derek's father, appeared behind Patricia. 2 of Derek's brothers flanked him. They stood there like a wall, blocking her from her own home. "This is my house too," Naomi said. Her voice shook despite her efforts to steady it. "I can't just leave. I live here." Patricia laughed. It was an ugly sound. "Your house. You've been living off my son for 5 years. You're nothing but a burden. A weight around his neck. He deserves better than you. I want to talk to Derek." Naomi pulled out her phone. Her hands were shaking now, rain mixing with something that might have been tears on her face. "He's with Candace," Patricia said, and there was triumph in her voice now. "You know Candace, don't you? She went to high school with Derek. Her father owns the car dealerships on 5th Avenue. That's the kind of woman Derek should have married. Not someone like you." The words kept coming, but Naomi had stopped hearing them. She dialed Derek's number. It rang once, then went to voicemail. She tried again. Same thing. He had rejected her call. "Just take your things and go," Robert said. His voice wasn't as harsh as Patricia's, but it wasn't kind either. "Make this easy on everyone." "Easy?" Naomi heard herself say. "You want me to make this easy? You've been a burden long enough," Patricia continued. "Derek built his business from nothing and you've just been hanging on, reaping the benefits. It's time you stood on your own 2 feet. Something in Naomi went very quiet then. Very still. She looked at Patricia, really looked at her. At the expensive coat she was wearing. At the jewelry on her fingers. At the satisfied smile on her face. "I see," Naomi said softly. She walked past them, her shoulder brushing Patricia's arm. She climbed the porch steps and reached for the door handle. Robert moved to block her. "You can't go in there," he said. "I need my documents," Naomi said. "My personal papers. Unless you packed those too?" Patricia and Robert exchanged a glance. "Fine," Patricia said. 5 minutes. Robert will go with you." Naomi walked through the house she had helped decorate. The furniture she had helped choose. The photographs on the walls that showed a happy couple who didn't exist anymore. Robert followed her like a security guard escorting a criminal. She went to the home office. Her file cabinet was still there. She pulled out folders methodically. Bank statements. Investment documents. Partnership agreements. Property papers. She put them all in her briefcase. "Time's up," Robert said. Naomi looked around the office one more time. There was a photo of her and Derek on the desk from their wedding day. She was smiling so wide in that picture. She looked so happy. So naive. She left the photo where it was. Outside, Patricia was loading Naomi's suitcases into her car, showing her out like unwanted trash. The rain was coming down harder now. Naomi's clothes were soaked through. She stood by her car and looked at the house one more time. "I gave 5 years to this family," she said quietly. "And Derek gave you a comfortable life," Patricia shot back. "Now he's moving on. You should too." Naomi got in her car. She started the engine. She looked at Patricia one last time through the rain-streaked window. Patricia was already walking back to the house, pulling out her phone, probably calling someone to share her victory. Naomi drove away slowly. Her hands gripped the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned pale. She didn't cry. Something inside her was too shocked for tears. Too hurt for anger yet. She drove to the Marriott downtown and checked into a room. The desk clerk asked if she was okay. She realized she must look terrible. Soaking wet, mascara probably running, carrying a briefcase and nothing else. "I'm fine," she lied. In the hotel room, Naomi sat on the bed and stared at the wall. Her phone buzzed. A text from Derek's number. "Please don't make this difficult. I'll have my lawyer contact you. We can make this quick and simple." That was it. After 5 years of marriage. After everything they had built together. A text message telling her not to make things difficult. Naomi opened her briefcase and pulled out the documents she had grabbed. She started reading through them one by one. Bank statements showing deposits she had made. Investment agreements she had signed. Partnership papers with her name on them. And slowly, very slowly, something began to burn in her chest. It wasn't sadness anymore. It wasn't shock. It was anger. Pure, cold, clarifying anger. Patricia had called her a burden. Said she had been living off Derek. Said she had just been hanging on, reaping benefits. Naomi pulled out her laptop and opened her banking app. She looked at the numbers on the screen. Numbers Patricia clearly didn't know about. Numbers Derek had apparently forgotten. She picked up her phone and made a call. "Hello, this is Naomi Bennett. I need to schedule an appointment with a lawyer. Tomorrow morning if possible." "Yes, it's urgent. It's regarding a business partnership and a divorce." She hung up and looked at the documents spread across the hotel bed. Partnership agreements for Anderson Family Enterprises. Property deeds with her name on them. Investment records showing exactly how much money she had put into Derek's failing business. Patricia thought she was a burden. Derek thought he could just throw her away and move on with Candace. They had no idea what was coming. Naomi didn't sleep that night. She sat in the hotel room with her laptop and her documents, and she began to remember things. Details she had pushed aside. Conversations she had ignored. She remembered the night Derek had proposed. They had been dating for 8 months. He was charming and attentive and made her feel special. She said yes without hesitation. She remembered their first year of marriage. Derek's business was struggling. Anderson Family Enterprises, a small construction company his grandfather had started, was on the verge of bankruptcy. Derek would come home stressed, worried, talking about laying off workers. And she remembered the conversation that changed everything. "I have some money saved," she had told him one night. "From when my grandmother passed. It's just sitting in an account. Maybe it could help." Derek had been so grateful. So loving. He had held her and called her his angel. His savior. She had given him $300,000. Her entire inheritance from the grandmother who raised her. The grandmother who worked 2 jobs to put Naomi through college. The money that was supposed to be Naomi's safety net. Derek had put it into the business. He had promised her a partnership. Equal share, equal say. He had the papers drawn up. She had signed them, trusting him completely. Within a year, Anderson Family Enterprises was profitable again. Within 2 years, it had expanded. Derek hired more workers. They took on bigger projects. Patricia started wearing designer clothes and taking trips to Europe. And Naomi? She kept working at her marketing job. She came home and cooked dinner. She managed the household finances. She supported Derek's dreams while her own sat quietly on the shelf. Now, sitting in the hotel room, she pulled up her email and started searching. There were hundreds of messages related to the business. Contracts she had helped negotiate. Clients she had brought in through her professional network. Marketing strategies she had developed for free. Her phone buzzed. A text from her best friend, Shanice. "Girl, where are you? Derek's mom just posted on Facebook about him and some woman named Candace. What's going on?" Naomi opened Facebook. She rarely used it, but Derek and his family were active. She scrolled through Patricia's profile and felt sick. There were photos. Derek and Candace at a restaurant. Derek and Candace at Patricia's birthday party last month. Derek and Candace at a family barbecue. All while Naomi had been working late or visiting her aunt in Florida, or at that conference in Chicago. The comments were sickening. Such a beautiful couple. Finally, Derek found the right one. Candace is perfect for the family. Naomi noticed the dates. Some of these photos were from 6 months ago. 6 months. Derek had been cheating for at least half a year, and his entire family had known. They had welcomed Candace while Naomi was still living in that house, still playing the role of devoted wife. Her phone rang. "Shanice." "Naomi, what the hell is happening?" And Naomi told her. Everything. The suitcases on the porch. Patricia's words. Derek's text. The realization that she had been erased from her own life. "That's insane," Shanice said. Her voice was shaking with anger. "You can't let them do this. You need to fight back." "I am," Naomi said quietly. But not the way they expect. She hung up and continued her research. She looked up Candace's social media. The woman was beautiful in a conventional way. Long blonde hair, perfect makeup, always posed just right. Her father owned 3 car dealerships. Her family had money. Old money from the look of it. Patricia would love that. Patricia had never thought Naomi was good enough. Too ambitious. Too independent. Too much of everything Patricia didn't want for her son. Naomi opened a new document on her laptop and started making a list. Every contribution she had made to the marriage. Every dollar she had invested. Every sacrifice she had made. The inheritance, $300,000 invested in Anderson Family Enterprises. The house down payment, $75,000 from her savings. The car Derek drove, $30,000 she had paid when his credit was too poor to get a loan. Her grandmother's wedding ring, melted down and remade into the ring Derek had given Patricia for her anniversary. Client contracts, at least $200,000 in business she had brought to Anderson Family Enterprises through her professional connections. The numbers added up, and up, and up. By morning, Naomi had a figure. Conservatively, she had contributed over $500,000 to Derek's life, to his business, to his family's comfort. And Patricia had called her a burden. At 9 a.m., Naomi walked into the law office of Martinez and Associates. Jennifer Martinez was a lawyer Shanice had recommended. Sharp, ruthless, and known for winning difficult divorce cases. "Tell me everything," Jennifer said, pouring them both coffee. Naomi laid out the documents, the partnership agreements, the property deeds, the bank statements, the investment records. She told Jennifer about the suitcases on the porch, about Patricia's words, about Candace. Jennifer's expression grew more intense as she reviewed the papers. "Do you know what you have here? Proof that I invested in the business? More than that." Jennifer spread the papers across her desk. "You have proof that you own 40% of Anderson Family Enterprises. Not as Derek's wife. As a legal business partner. That's a separate entity from the marriage." Naomi's heart started beating faster. "What does that mean?" "It means that in the divorce you're entitled to half of the marital assets. The house, the cars, the shared accounts. But separately you're also entitled to your full partnership share of the business. They're 2 different claims." "Can they afford that?" Jennifer smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "That's their problem, not yours. You invested when they were bankrupt. You saved that business. The fact that they thought they could just kick you out without consequences shows a stunning level of stupidity." "I want everything I put in," Naomi said. "Plus interest. We can do better than that." Jennifer leaned back in her chair. "Partnership agreements include clauses about profit sharing. You're entitled to 40% of the company's profits for the past 5 years. When's the last time you saw a financial statement?" Naomi realized she had never seen one. Derek always said the business stuff was too boring for her to worry about. She had trusted him to be fair. "I haven't," she admitted. "Then we start with discovery. We get every financial record for the past 5 years. We find out exactly how much that business made and exactly how much they owe you." Jennifer picked up her phone. "I'm going to start the paperwork today. This is going to get ugly, Naomi. Are you ready for that?" Naomi thought about the suitcases in the rain. About Patricia's satisfied smile. About Derek and Candace smiling in those Facebook photos while she worked late, completely unaware. "I'm ready," she said. Jennifer made some calls while Naomi sat in the office. She heard phrases like forensic accountant, and immediate injunction, and partnership dissolution. Legal words that meant Derek's comfortable life was about to get very uncomfortable. When Jennifer hung up, she looked at Naomi seriously. "They're going to call you. They're going to beg. Derek will probably show up crying about how much he loves you. His family will offer you money to go away quietly. You need to be strong. Don't talk to any of them without me present." "I won't," Naomi promised. "Good." Jennifer stood up and shook her hand. "Welcome to the best decision you've ever made. Let's destroy them." Naomi left the office feeling lighter than she had in years. The shock was wearing off. The grief was still there, but underneath it was something new. Something powerful. For 5 years she had made herself smaller. Quieter. She had supported and sacrificed and given everything. She had believed that was what love looked like. But it wasn't love. It was convenient for Derek. It was useful for his family. Real love didn't kick you out in the rain. Real love didn't call you a burden while spending the money you provided. Naomi walked to her car and sat behind the wheel. She looked at herself in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but they were clear, focused. Patricia had wanted her gone. Derek had wanted her erased. They were about to learn that Naomi Bennett didn't erase easily. And she didn't go quietly. She started the car and drove to her office. She had work to do, a life to rebuild, and a family to bankrupt. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of legal paperwork and cold determination. Naomi moved like a machine, efficient and emotionless. She took 2 days off work to organize everything Jennifer needed, then threw herself back into her job with renewed focus. Her coworkers noticed the change. Naomi had always been good at her job, but now she was excellent. She stayed late, volunteered for difficult projects, and brought in 2 new clients in 1 week. Her boss, a sharp woman named Angela, called her into the office. "Are you okay?" Angela asked, concern in her eyes. "You're working like someone who's running from something." "I'm working like someone who's building something," Naomi corrected. "And I'm fine. Better than fine, actually." It was true. Despite the pain, despite the anger, Naomi felt more alive than she had in years. She wasn't tiptoeing around Derek's moods anymore. She wasn't rushing home to cook dinner for people who didn't appreciate her. She wasn't making herself small. She was taking up space, and it felt good. Jennifer called her every few days with updates. The discovery process had begun. Derek's lawyer had been shocked by the partnership claim. They had tried to argue that it was just a formality, that Naomi had never actually functioned as a partner. Jennifer had laughed. Then she sent them copies of 27 emails where Naomi had negotiated contracts, developed marketing strategies, and brought in clients. She sent them testimony from 3 business owners who confirmed they had hired Anderson Family Enterprises specifically because of Naomi's recommendation. Derek's lawyer stopped arguing after that. The forensic accountant Jennifer hired was a middle-aged man named Thomas who looked like somebody's friendly uncle. But his reports were savage. He tore through Anderson Family Enterprises books like a detective solving a murder. "They've been paying themselves significant bonuses," he told Naomi and Jennifer during a meeting. "Derek's salary is reasonable, but look here. Every quarter there's a management bonus paid to him and his father. $50,000 each. That's $400,000 a year going to them personally." While Naomi received nothing? Jennifer asked. Nothing. Not a single dividend payment to her as a partner. Not even a distribution at year-end. Thomas adjusted his glasses. "They've been treating her investment as if it was a gift rather than a partnership stake. That's illegal, by the way." Naomi felt cold rage spreading through her chest. Derek had been taking home extra money every 3 months. Money that was partially hers. While she worked overtime at her own job to help cover their personal expenses. "How much do they owe me?" she asked. Thomas slid a paper across the table. "Based on a 40% partnership stake and the profit-sharing clause in your agreement, I calculate you're owed approximately $280,000 in back distributions. That's not counting your initial investment or interest on that investment." Jennifer smiled. "So with the initial investment, interest, and back distributions, we're looking at around $600,000. Plus half the marital assets," Thomas added. "The house, the cars, the joint accounts. Can they pay that?" Naomi asked. "That's the interesting question," Thomas said. He pulled out another document. "Anderson Family Enterprises has assets, but most are tied up in equipment and ongoing projects. Their liquid capital is around $300,000. If they have to pay you immediately, they'll need to liquidate. Sell equipment. Possibly sell the business itself." "Good," Naomi said flatly. Jennifer and Thomas both looked at her. She realized how cold she sounded. How different from the woman who had cried in this office 2 weeks ago. "I'm sorry," she said. "I don't mean to sound heartless." "Don't apologize," Jennifer said firmly. "They kicked you out like trash. They called you a burden while living off your money. You're not heartless, Naomi. You're finally putting yourself first." That night, Naomi sat in her new apartment. She had rented a small 1-bedroom in a building downtown. It was nothing fancy, but it was hers. She had bought new sheets, new towels, new dishes. Everything was hers, purchased with her money, touched only by her hands. She made herself dinner. Pasta with vegetables. Simple and easy. She ate it on the couch while watching a crime documentary. She didn't have to ask anyone what they wanted to watch. She didn't have to compromise. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Naomi, this is Robert. We need to talk. What you're doing is going to destroy this family. Derek made a mistake, but this revenge is too much. Please call me." She deleted the text without responding. Jennifer had told her not to engage. Anything she said could be used against her later. Another text came through. Patricia, this time. You're being vindictive and cruel. We welcomed you into this family and this is how you repay us? By trying to take everything we've built? You should be ashamed. Naomi stared at that message for a long time. The audacity of it. The shamelessness. They had kicked her out. They had known about Candace for months. They had stolen her partnership distributions. And somehow she was the villain? She typed a response. You're right. I should be ashamed. I'm ashamed it took me 5 years to realize what you really are. She deleted it without sending. No contact meant no contact. Instead, she opened her laptop and looked at her bank accounts. Her emergency fund had been depleted when she gave Derek the investment, but she had been rebuilding it. She had $42,000 saved. Not a fortune, but enough to live on while the legal process played out. She looked at job postings. She didn't need a new job, but she was curious. What could she do? Where could she go? For 5 years, she had planned her career around Derek's needs. His business was here, so she stayed here. His family was here, so she made this her home. But now, she could go anywhere. Do anything. The thought was terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. She got a call from Shanice. How are you holding up? I'm okay, Naomi said. Really? I'm angry, but I'm okay. I saw Patricia post it again. She's playing the victim on Facebook, saying you're trying to destroy a family business out of spite. Naomi laughed bitterly. Of course she is. Let her. The truth will come out in court. People are believing her though, Shanice warned. Derek's friends are commenting, calling you greedy and vindictive. Let them, Naomi said. She felt surprisingly calm. They don't know what really happened, and I don't owe them explanations. You're stronger than I thought, Shanice said quietly. When you first called me that night, I thought you were going to fall apart. But you're not, are you? You're fighting. I'm tired of being treated like I don't matter, Naomi said. I'm tired of making myself small so other people can be comfortable. Derek and his family wanted me gone? Fine. But they don't get to keep what's mine. After she hung up, Naomi opened the folder of documents she had assembled. Every receipt, every contract, every email. She had created a timeline of her entire marriage, documenting every contribution she had made. It was damning. And it was true. She had receipts for furniture she bought, emails confirming client contracts she secured, bank statements showing deposits she made, a paper trail of a woman who gave everything and got nothing in return. Jennifer had copies of all of it. So did Thomas. Derek's lawyer had copies too, and Naomi imagined him looking through them, realizing how badly his client had screwed up. Because the thing about the truth was this. It didn't care about feelings. It didn't care that Patricia thought Naomi was beneath them. It didn't care that Derek wanted to move on with Candace. The truth was simple. Naomi had invested $300,000 in a failing business and saved it. She was a legal partner entitled to profit distributions. She had never received them. That was theft, plain and simple. And now the bill was coming due. Naomi closed her laptop and looked around her small apartment. It wasn't much yet. She hadn't hung pictures or bought real furniture. But it was peaceful. Quiet. Hers. She thought about the house on Maple Street. The yellow kitchen. The photographs on the wall. The life she thought she was building. It had all been an illusion. A pretty lie. This apartment, with its bare walls and basic furniture, was more real than that house had ever been. Her phone buzzed again. Derek, this time. We need to talk. Please. I know I hurt you, but this legal action is too much. Can we meet? Just the two of us. We can figure this out like adults. Naomi read the message twice. Like adults. As if she was the one being childish. As if she was the one who had destroyed their marriage. She typed, have your lawyer contact my lawyer. That's the only communication I'll accept. She sent it before she could second-guess herself. Then she blocked Derek's number. She blocked Patricia. She blocked Robert and Derek's brothers. She blocked Candace, even though Candace had never tried to contact her. Clean slate. Fresh start. Tomorrow Jennifer would file the official claim. The paperwork demanding payment of the partnership debt. The beginning of the end for Anderson Family Enterprises. Naomi should have felt guilty. Part of her expected to. These were people she had called family for 5 years. Derek's nieces and nephews would be affected. Workers might lose jobs. But when she closed her eyes, all she saw were those suitcases on the porch. All she heard was Patricia calling her a burden. They had made their choice. Now they would live with the consequences. Naomi turned off the lights and went to bed. For the first time in 2 weeks, she slept soundly. No nightmares. No tears. Just the deep, peaceful sleep of someone who knows they're doing the right thing. The legal notice was delivered to Anderson Family Enterprises on a Tuesday morning. Jennifer had timed it perfectly. Derek was meeting with potential clients. Robert and Patricia were both in the office. The entire family was together when the process server walked in and handed them the paperwork. Jennifer called Naomi an hour later. It's done. They've been served. How did they react? The process server said Robert went pale. Patricia started yelling at him. Derek called my office 6 times in 20 minutes. I didn't answer. Jennifer sounded satisfied. Now we wait. They have 30 days to respond or settle. Naomi sat at her desk trying to focus on work. She had a presentation to finish for a potential client. A marketing campaign for a new restaurant opening downtown. Normal work. Normal life. But nothing felt normal anymore. Her phone rang constantly that day. Derek called from different numbers. Patricia called from the office line and her cell phone. Even Derek's brother tried. Naomi ignored them all. She had blocked their regular numbers, but they were desperate now, trying anything. One voicemail from Derek stood out. His voice was strained, almost panicked. Naomi, please. You don't understand what you're doing. This will destroy everything my grandfather built. Everything my father has worked for. I know I hurt you, but this is too much. Please call me. We can work this out. She deleted it without saving it. At lunch, she met Shanice at a cafe near her office. Shanice took one look at her and shook her head. You look tired. I didn't sleep much, Naomi admitted. I keep thinking about what happens next. Second thoughts. No. Naomi was firm. Not even a little. But it's still hard. I spent 5 years of my life with Derek. I believed we were building something together. Finding out it was all a lie takes time to process. They served the papers? This morning. Shanice whistled low. I bet Patricia is losing her mind. Probably. Naomi picked at her salad. Part of me wishes I could see her face when she realized. But mostly, I just want this to be over. It will be, Shanice assured her. And when it is, you'll be free. Actually free. Not just physically away from them, but financially separated too. They won't have any power over you. That word resonated. Power. For 5 years, Naomi had given Derek and his family power over her life, her money, her choices. She had trusted them with that power, believing they would treat it with care. They had abused it. Used it. Thrown it away the moment she was no longer convenient. Never again. After lunch, Naomi went back to work. She finished her presentation and emailed it to the restaurant owner. Then she started on a new project, a social media campaign for a boutique hotel. Work was her anchor now. It gave her purpose and distraction. Angela stopped by her desk around 4. You doing okay? You've been quiet lately. Just going through some personal stuff, Naomi said. But I'm managing. If you need time off, just ask. You've got PTO saved up. Thanks, but work is helping actually. Keeps my mind busy. Angela nodded and walked away, but Naomi saw the concern in her eyes. Her coworkers were being kind, giving her space, not asking too many questions. She appreciated it. That evening, she went to her apartment and changed into comfortable clothes. Sweatpants and a t-shirt. No makeup. No fancy outfit. Just her, alone in her space. She ordered Chinese food and ate it straight from the containers while watching television. Simple pleasures. Small freedoms. Things she had taken for granted before Derek. Her new phone buzzed. Jennifer. Derek's lawyer called. They want to meet. Already? They're panicking. The forensic accountant's report was damning. They know they don't have a defense. They want to negotiate before this goes to court. What do you think I should do? That's up to you, Jennifer said. We can meet with them. Hear what they're offering. But you don't have to accept anything. We can let this go to trial if you want. Naomi thought about it. A trial would be public. All the details would come out. Derek's affair. The stolen distributions. Patricia's cruelty. Part of her wanted that. Wanted everyone to know the truth. But another part just wanted to be done. To close this chapter and move forward. Set up the meeting, she decided. But I'm not compromising. They pay everything they owe or we go to trial. That's my girl, Jennifer said approvingly. I'll call them back. The meeting was scheduled for Friday afternoon. 3 days away. Naomi tried not to think about it, but it was impossible. She would be in the same room as Derek for the first time since that terrible day with the suitcases. She didn't know how she would react. She would cry. She would yell. She would feel anything at all. On Thursday night, she couldn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. Everything that was about to happen. Her phone lit up with a text. An unknown number. Naomi, this is Candace. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need to tell you something. Derek lied to me. He told me you two were already separated. He said you were fine with the divorce, that it was mutual. I didn't know he kicked you out. I didn't know about the business stuff. I'm sorry. I broke up with him. Naomi read the message 3 times. Part of her felt vindicated. Candace had left Derek. He had lost both women. But mostly she felt nothing. Candace's apology didn't change anything. She had still been with a married man. She had still been welcomed into Derek's family while Naomi was erased. She didn't respond. She just blocked the number and put her phone away. Friday came too quickly. Naomi dressed carefully that morning. A navy blue pantsuit. Professional. Powerful. She put on minimal makeup and pulled her hair back. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. This version of Naomi was harder. Colder. Less willing to bend. She liked her. The meeting was at Jennifer's office. Naomi arrived 15 minutes early. Jennifer met her in the lobby. Remember, you don't have to say anything. I'll do the talking. Just sit there and look strong. I can do that, Naomi said. They went to the conference room. It was large and intimidating with a long table and leather chairs. Jennifer had set it up deliberately. Power dynamics mattered in negotiations. Derek arrived exactly on time. He walked in with his lawyer, a middle-aged man named Peterson who looked uncomfortable. Behind them came Patricia and Robert. Naomi hadn't expected them. She felt her stomach clench, but she kept her face neutral. Derek looked terrible. He had lost weight. There were dark circles under his eyes. His hair needed cutting. He looked like a man who hadn't slept in days. Good, Naomi thought coldly. Now he knows how it feels. Patricia looked furious. Her face was tight with barely controlled rage. She glared at Naomi with pure hatred. Robert just looked tired. Defeated. They all sat down. Derek tried to catch Naomi's eye. She looked at the wall behind him instead. Let's begin, Jennifer said crisply. You asked for this meeting. What are you offering? Peterson cleared his throat. My clients acknowledged that there was a partnership agreement. However, they believe Ms. Bennett's claims are exaggerated. The business's success wasn't solely due to her investment. The Anderson family's hard work and expertise were significant factors. That's not what we asked, Jennifer said. We asked what you're offering. Not your opinion on who deserves credit. Peterson pulled out a document. We're prepared to offer Ms. Bennett her initial investment back. $300,000. Plus $50,000 for her trouble. That's $350,000 paid out over 3 years. In exchange, she dissolves the partnership and signs a non-compete clause. Jennifer didn't even look at the document. No. Excuse me? No. That offer is insulting. My client is owed $600,000 minimum. That's not negotiable. The only question is whether you pay it voluntarily or we take it through court. Patricia exploded. $600,000. That's insane. We don't have that kind of money lying around. Then sell the business, Jennifer said calmly. Liquidate your assets. File for bankruptcy. I don't care how you get it. But my client is getting what she's legally owed. This is extortion, Patricia hissed. No, this is business, Jennifer replied. Your family entered into a partnership agreement. You violated the terms of that agreement by not paying distributions. You committed fraud. Now you pay the price. Derek finally spoke. His voice was hoarse. Naomi, please. Look at me. She didn't want to. But something made her turn her head. Their eyes met. I'm sorry, he said. I'm so sorry for everything. I was wrong. I was a coward. But please don't do this. This business is my family's legacy. My grandfather started it. My father built it. Don't destroy it out of revenge. Naomi felt Jennifer's hand on her arm, a silent reminder not to engage. But she couldn't help herself. You destroyed it, she said quietly. The day you kicked me out. The day you stole my money. The day you chose Candace over your wife. You destroyed everything, Derek. I'm just collecting what's mine. We'll pay you back, Derek said desperately. Over time. We can set up a payment plan. 5 years. 10 years. Whatever you need. Just don't force us to liquidate. You had 5 years to pay me, Naomi said. 5 years of quarterly distributions you kept for yourselves. 5 years of treating my investment like it was a gift. Why should I give you more time? Because I loved you, Derek said. His voice broke. I still love you. I made mistakes, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can start over. Just please drop the lawsuit. Naomi stared at him. This man who had been her husband, who had promised to love and cherish her, who had kicked her out in the rain without a second thought. You don't love me, she said. You love what I can give you. My money, my connections, my willingness to make myself small so you can feel big. That's not love, Derek. That's exploitation. She stood up. Jennifer, I'm done here. Let them know our final offer. $600,000. Paid in full within 90 days. Or we go to trial. She walked out of the conference room without looking back. She heard Patricia start yelling. Heard Derek call her name. Heard Robert trying to calm everyone down. She didn't care. She was done listening to them. Done caring about their feelings. Done being the reasonable one. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall and took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking. Not from fear. From relief. She had faced them. She had been strong. She hadn't caved. Jennifer came out a moment later. You were perfect. Cold as ice. They're scared now. Good, Naomi said. They should be. Peterson asked for time to discuss with his clients. I gave them 48 hours to respond. After that, we file for trial. Naomi nodded. She felt exhausted suddenly. Drained. Like she had run a marathon. Go home, Jennifer said gently. Rest. You did well today. Naomi drove home in a daze. She went to her apartment and collapsed on the couch. She didn't cry. She didn't feel angry. She just felt empty. Her phone buzzed. Shanice, how did it go? I told them to pay or we go to trial. And Derek begged. Patricia screamed. Robert looked like he aged 10 years. But I didn't back down. I'm done being weak, Shanice. I'm done letting them walk all over me. Proud of you, girl. You want company? No. I just want to sleep. She hung up and closed her eyes. In 2 days she would have her answer. Either they would pay or she would destroy them in court. Either way, Naomi Bennett was taking back her life. The response came on Sunday evening. Naomi was eating dinner when Jennifer called. They agreed, Jennifer said. $600,000. But they're asking for 6 months to pay, not 90 days. They need time to liquidate assets. Naomi thought about it. 6 months was longer than she wanted. But it was also realistic. What happens if they don't pay? We put a lien on the business. On their personal property. If they default, we seize everything. The business, their homes, their cars. Everything. And they agreed to that? They don't have a choice. Peterson knows they'd lose in court. This way, they at least have a chance to pay without a public trial. Okay, Naomi decided. 6 months. But I want monthly payments. $100,000 a month. If they miss even one payment, we seize immediately. I'll draw up the agreement. They'll sign it this week. After Jennifer hung up, Naomi sat in silence. She had won. In 6 months she would have her money back. Plus interest. Plus damages. Everything Derek and his family had stolen from her. But victory felt hollow. She had spent 5 years loving Derek. Building a life with him. And it had all been worth exactly $600,000 in the end. That's what their marriage amounted to. A business transaction that went bad. She wondered if Candace knew. If she understood that Derek had been willing to throw away his wife for a woman whose only real value was her family's money and social standing. Probably not. Women like Candace probably thought it was romantic. That Derek had chosen her out of love, not calculation. The first payment was due on March 1st. Naomi marked it on her calendar. $100,000. The first installment of her freedom. She went to work the next day determined to move forward. She had been treading water for weeks, just surviving. Now it was time to actually live again. Angela called her into the office. I've been impressed with your work lately. The restaurant campaign you designed brought in 3 new clients who wanted similar services. I'm giving you a raise. 15%. And I want you to lead the creative team on a new project. Naomi blinked. I wasn't expecting that. You've earned it. Whatever you're going through in your personal life, you're channeling it into excellent work. Keep it up. A 15% raise. More responsibility. More money. Naomi felt a spark of pride. This was hers. Not because of Derek. Not because of his family. Because she was good at her job. She threw herself into the new project. It was a campaign for a chain of fitness centers opening across the state. Big budget. High visibility. The kind of project that could make her career. She worked 12-hour days. She brainstormed with her team. She created mood boards and slogans and marketing strategies. She forgot about Derek and Patricia and the lawsuit. She forgot about everything except the work in front of her. And slowly she started to feel like herself again. Not the woman who had been married to Derek. The woman she had been before him. Ambitious, creative, unstoppable. 3 weeks later, Jennifer called with news. The first payment is due tomorrow. Peterson confirmed they'll make it on time. Good. But there's something else. Anderson Family Enterprises is struggling. 2 major contracts fell through. Clients are leaving. Workers are quitting. The business is failing fast. Naomi felt a twinge of something. Not guilt exactly, but awareness. Why are contracts falling through? Word got out about the lawsuit. About Derek's affair. About how they treated you. Construction is a small world, Naomi. People talk. And apparently, a lot of contractors don't want to work with a family that steals from their business partners. Karma, Naomi thought. She should have felt satisfaction. But mostly she felt tired. That's not my problem, she said out loud. No, it's not, Jennifer agreed. But be prepared. They might not be able to make all 6 payments. We might end up seizing the business anyway. Then we seize it. The first payment came through on March 1st. $100,000 deposited into Naomi's account. She stared at the number on her screen. It felt surreal. This was her money. Money she had earned by being brave enough to leave. Brave enough to fight back. She paid off her credit card. Paid 3 months of rent in advance. Put $50,000 into a high-yield savings account. The rest she kept liquid just in case. For the first time in months, she felt financially secure. April's payment came on time too. Another $100,000. Naomi breathed a little easier. Maybe they would actually pay it all. Maybe she wouldn't have to destroy them completely. But in May things changed. The payment was late. 5 days late. Then a week. Then 10 days. Jennifer sent a formal notice. Pay immediately or face seizure. Peterson called back the next day. My clients need more time. They're selling equipment. Trying to find buyers. But the market is slow. They signed an agreement, Jennifer said coldly. Monthly payments or we seize. Those were the terms. If you seize now, you'll get nothing. They're underwater. Bankruptcy is coming either way. At least give them time to sell assets. You'll get more money that way. Jennifer looked at Naomi. Your call. Naomi thought about it. She could seize now and force bankruptcy. Or she could wait and potentially get more money. It was a business decision. Nothing personal. Except it was personal. It would always be personal. 2 weeks, she said finally. They have 2 weeks to make the May payment plus June's payment. $200,000. If they miss it, we seize everything. Peterson agreed. He sounded relieved. The 2 weeks crawled by. Naomi checked her bank account obsessively. No payment came. On day 13, Patricia called from an unknown number. Naomi almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. You're destroying us, Patricia said without preamble. Is that what you wanted? To ruin a family? To put people out of work? I wanted what I was owed, Naomi said calmly. That's all. You stole from me for 5 years. Now you're paying it back. We gave you a good life. Derek took care of you. With my money, Naomi shot back. My inheritance. My investment. My connections. Everything you're losing now? You built it on my foundation. And you treated me like trash. So yes, Patricia. I'm taking it back. All of it. You're heartless. No. I'm done being walked on. There's a difference. She hung up. Her hands were shaking, but she felt strong. Powerful. She had stood up to Patricia. Finally said everything she had held inside for years. Felt amazing. The 2 weeks passed. No payment came. Jennifer filed the seizure papers. A judge signed off immediately. The legal system moved quickly when money was involved. Anderson Family Enterprises was frozen. All bank accounts, all equipment, all assets. Everything was locked down pending liquidation. Derek called Naomi from yet another unknown number. She answered out of morbid curiosity. You won, he said. His voice was hollow. Are you happy now? The business my grandfather built is gone. My parents are losing their house. Workers are unemployed. You destroyed everything. I didn't destroy anything, Naomi said. I invested in a failing business and saved it. I was a partner who never got paid. I was a wife who was kicked out in the rain. Everything that's happening to you now? You brought it on yourself. I made a mistake, Derek said. I had an affair. I hurt you. But this punishment doesn't fit the crime. You're taking everything. You took everything from me first, Naomi said. My money, my trust, 5 years of my life. And you did it without blinking. So yes, Derek, I'm taking everything back. And I'm not sorry. She hung up before he could respond. She blocked that number too. Later that week, Jennifer called with final numbers. The liquidation is complete. After paying off business debts and legal fees, the remaining assets total $520,000. Combined with the $200,000 they already paid you, that's $720,000. More than we sued for. What happens to Derek's family? They're filing for personal bankruptcy. The house is going into foreclosure. Robert's retirement account is gone. Patricia is looking for work for the first time in 30 years. Derek moved in with his brother. Naomi absorbed this information. She waited to feel guilty. Waited for regret. But all she felt was a strange sense of justice. They had treated her like she was worthless. Like her contributions didn't matter. Like she was disposable. Now they understood. Actions had consequences. Cruelty had costs. Make sure the workers get their final paychecks, Naomi said. Whatever's left after that, put it in my account. Already done. The workers were paid first. You'll have the remainder by Friday. Friday came. Naomi's account balance jumped by $520,000. Added to what she had already received, she now had $720,000. More money than she had started with. More than Derek had ever paid her. She sat in her apartment and looked at the number on her screen. This was freedom. Real, tangible freedom. She could pay off her student loans. She could invest. She could start her own business. She could do anything. The possibilities were dizzying. Her phone buzzed. Shanice, I heard the business is done. You okay? I'm okay, Naomi said. And she meant it. I'm actually okay. Want to celebrate? Drinks tonight? You know what? Yes. I think I deserve a celebration. They went to a nice bar downtown. Naomi ordered expensive wine and allowed herself to relax for the first time in months. Shanice raised her glass. To Naomi, who took back her power and didn't apologize for it. They clinked glasses. Naomi drank and felt the wine warm her from the inside. She wasn't happy exactly. Too much had happened for happiness. But she was content. Satisfied. At peace. She had fought. She had won. And now, finally, she could move forward. Without Derek. Without his family. Without the weight of their expectations and cruelty. Just Naomi. Free and whole and ready for whatever came next. The aftermath was strange. Naomi kept expecting to feel something. Guilt, regret, even satisfaction. But mostly she felt nothing. Just a vast, quiet emptiness where Derek and his family used to be. She returned to work with renewed purpose. The fitness center campaign was a massive success. Her team's marketing strategy increased memberships by 40% in the first quarter. Angela was thrilled. I'm promoting you to Senior Creative Director, Angela announced one morning. You've more than earned it. Plus, it comes with another raise in profit sharing. Naomi accepted gracefully, but inside she was reeling. Senior Creative Director. A title she had wanted for years. A title Derek had always said she wasn't ready for. He had been wrong about so many things. Life settled into a new rhythm. She worked hard during the day. In the evenings, she explored the city like a tourist. She went to museums she had never visited. Tried restaurants she had never been to. Derek had hated trying new things, preferring the same 5 restaurants on rotation. She bought herself things without asking permission. A new laptop. Expensive skincare products. A piece of art from a local gallery that cost $800. Every purchase was a small act of rebellion. She was rebuilding herself, piece by piece. 6 weeks after the liquidation, Shanice called her on a Saturday morning. You need to see something. Check Facebook. Naomi hadn't looked at social media in months. She had deleted the apps from her phone. But curiosity got the better of her. She opened Facebook on her laptop. Patricia had posted a long rant. It was titled, When Vindictive Exes Destroy Families. Naomi read it with a strange detachment. To all our friends and family who have been asking what happened to Anderson Family Enterprises. We were destroyed by a vindictive ex-daughter-in-law who valued revenge over compassion. After my son made a mistake in his marriage, his ex-wife sued us for an outrageous amount of money, forcing us to liquidate a business my father built from nothing. She showed no mercy, no willingness to compromise. Good, hardworking people lost their jobs because of her greed. We lost everything we worked for because she couldn't forgive. I hope she's happy with her blood money. I hope it was worth destroying a family legacy. The comments were a mix of support and criticism. Some people called Naomi terrible names. Others pointed out that if there was a lawsuit, there must have been a legal reason for it. One comment made Naomi smile. If your son and your family didn't do anything wrong, why did she win in court? Maybe tell the whole story, Patricia. Shanice called. Are you okay? That post is awful. I'm fine, Naomi said. And she was. Let her play victim. People who know the truth know what really happened. People who don't know won't believe anything I say anyway. You're not going to respond? Why would I? I don't owe Patricia or anyone else an explanation. The court documents tell the whole story. If people want to know the truth, they can look it up. When did you get so zen? Shanice asked, impressed. When I stopped caring what Derek's family thinks of me, Naomi said. They can spin this however they want. I have my money. I have my freedom. They can't touch me anymore. But the universe wasn't done with surprises. 2 weeks later, Naomi was at her favorite coffee shop when she heard a familiar voice. Naomi? She turned. Derek stood there holding a cup of coffee. He looked even worse than the last time she saw him. Thinner, older, defeated. Derek. Her voice was neutral, polite, the way you'd greet a stranger. Can we talk? Just for a minute? Every instinct told her to say no, to walk away. But she was curious. What could he possibly have to say now? 1 minute, she agreed. They sat at a corner table. Derek wrapped his hands around his coffee cup like he was cold, even though it was warm outside. I'm sorry, he said. I know I've said it before, but I need you to know I really am sorry. For everything. The affair. Letting my family treat you that way. All of it. Okay. Is that all you have to say? What do you want me to say, Derek? That I forgive you? That I understand? I don't. You kicked me out of my own home. You stole money from me for 5 years. Your mother called me a burden while wearing jewelry I helped pay for. So no, I don't have anything to say except okay. Derek flinched. I know I hurt you. But did you have to destroy everything? Couldn't you have just taken your money and left it at that? I did take my money. That's exactly what I did. It's not my fault that your business was built on my investment and couldn't survive without it. People lost jobs, Naomi. Good people. My parents lost their home. Your parents stole from me, Naomi said flatly. They took distributions that belonged to me. They treated me like trash. And they knew about Candace for months without telling me. So forgive me if I don't feel sorry for them. Where does it end? Derek asked. His voice was desperate now. How much is enough? You have your money. You destroyed the business. My family is broken. When does the revenge stop? Naomi looked at him. Really looked at him. This man who had been her husband. Who she had loved. Who she had trusted with everything. This isn't revenge, she said quietly. This is consequences. You made choices. Bad choices. You chose to have an affair. You chose to let your family kick me out. You chose to steal money that belonged to me. Every single thing that happened to you after that was because of your choices, not mine. I loved you, Derek said. Tears were in his eyes now. I still love you. I made mistakes, but I loved you. No, you didn't, Naomi said. She felt calm. Certain. You loved what I could give you. My money. My support. My willingness to make your life easier. But you didn't love me. Because if you had, you never would have let them treat me the way they did. She stood up. I hope you figure out your life, Derek. I really do. But I won't be part of it. Not now. Not ever. We're done. She walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. Her hands were steady. Her heart was calm. She had faced him one last time and she hadn't fallen apart. She was stronger than she thought. That night, she treated herself to dinner at an expensive steakhouse. She sat alone at a table, ordered a perfectly cooked ribeye and a glass of wine, and enjoyed every bite. She didn't need company. She didn't need validation. She was enough all by herself. Her phone buzzed. A text from Angela. Just heard from the fitness center. They want to sign for another year of campaigns. Your work has been exceptional. Well done. Naomi smiled. This was her life now. Success she earned. Money she controlled. Choices she made without asking permission. Derek had given her one thing she realized. By betraying her, by showing her exactly what he was, he had forced her to become who she was always meant to be. Strong. Independent. Unbreakable. She raised her wine glass in a silent toast to herself. To survival. To justice. To new beginnings. The waiter came by. Dessert menu? Yes, Naomi said. I'll have the chocolate souffle. Because she could. Because she wanted to. Because she didn't have to ask anyone's permission anymore. She was free. Spring turned into summer. Naomi's life began to take on a shape she barely recognized, but in the best way possible. With her settlement money safely invested in a diverse portfolio, she started to dream bigger. She had always worked for other people, building their brands, making their visions come to life. What if she built something for herself? The idea came to her on a random Tuesday morning. She was working on a pitch for a beauty company when it hit her. She was good at this. Really good. She had a track record of successful campaigns. She had industry connections. She had $700,000 in the bank. Why wasn't she running her own agency? That night, she couldn't sleep. She got up and opened her laptop, starting a business plan at 2 in the morning. She researched startup costs for marketing agencies. She looked at office spaces. She calculated how many clients she would need to break even. By dawn, she had a rough outline. It was ambitious, maybe crazy, but it felt right in a way nothing had felt right in years. She scheduled a meeting with a business consultant the following week. A woman named Gabrielle who specialized in helping entrepreneurs launch companies. You have the experience, Gabrielle told her, reviewing Naomi's portfolio. You have the capital. You have a solid business plan. The question is, are you ready to bet on yourself? I am, Naomi said without hesitation. Then let's do this. The next 3 months were a whirlwind. Naomi gave her notice at Angela's firm. Angela was disappointed but supportive. You're going to be amazing, Angela said. And when you need freelancers, call me. I'd love to send work your way. Naomi found a small office space downtown. Just 2 rooms and a reception area, but it was hers. She hired a graphic designer named Jordan, a recent college graduate with incredible talent and enthusiasm. She hired a social media specialist named Tasha who understood digital marketing better than anyone Naomi had ever met. They called the company Bennett Creative Solutions. Naomi's name, her vision, her dream. She reached out to former clients, people she had worked with at her previous job. Several of them agreed to move their contracts to her new agency. Within 2 months, Bennett Creative Solutions had 5 steady clients and 2 major projects in the pipeline. Naomi worked 16-hour days, but it didn't feel like work. It felt like building something that mattered. Something that was hers. She also started dating again. Nothing serious, just casual coffee dates and dinners. She met a lawyer named Troy who was funny and kind. They went out 3 times before mutually agreeing they were better as friends. She met a teacher named Anthony who loved jazz and took her to a concert that changed her whole perspective on music. None of them were serious relationships. Naomi wasn't ready for serious. But they reminded her that she was desirable, interesting, worth someone's time. After years of Derek making her feel like she wasn't enough, it was healing to be reminded that she was. She took a solo trip to Paris. The trip Derek had always said was a waste of money. She spent a week exploring museums, eating croissants, practicing her terrible French. She took 1,000 photos, bought herself expensive perfume, and felt more alive than she had in years. On her last night in Paris, she sat at a cafe watching people walk by and realized something profound. She was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. Not content. Not surviving. Happy. She thought about Derek occasionally. Wondered how he was doing. But it was a distant curiosity, not a painful longing. He was part of her past now. A chapter that had closed. When she returned home, Bennett Creative Solutions landed its biggest client yet. A regional grocery chain that wanted to rebrand. It was a 6-figure contract. The kind of project that would put her agency on the map. Jordan and Tasha were ecstatic. They worked late nights developing concepts, testing strategies, creating presentations. Naomi led the team with confidence she didn't know she possessed. The grocery chain executives loved their pitch. They signed immediately. You're really good at this, Tasha told her after the meeting. Like scary good. Why weren't you running your own company before? I didn't think I could, Naomi admitted. Or maybe I didn't think I deserved to. Well, you do. And we're lucky to work for you. That meant more to Naomi than Tasha probably realized. She moved into a bigger apartment. A 2-bedroom loft with huge windows that let in so much light, it felt like living in sunshine. She decorated it exactly how she wanted. Bold colors. Modern furniture. Art that made her feel something. No compromises. No asking if someone else liked it. Just her taste, her style, her home. She reconnected with old friends she had lost touch with during her marriage. She joined a book club. She started taking a painting class on Tuesday evenings. She built a life that was full and rich and entirely her own. One Saturday, she was at a farmer's market when she saw Candace. The woman looked polished as always, but there was something brittle in her expression. She was alone, browsing vegetables with the focus of someone trying not to think about something else. Naomi almost walked away, but something made her stop. "Candace." The woman turned and her face went pale. "Naomi, I didn't know you'd be here. I live downtown now. I come here every week." Awkward silence. Candace shifted her shopping bag from one hand to the other. "I meant what I said in my text," Candace finally said. "I didn't know he was still married." "Not really. He told me you two were separated." "It doesn't matter now," Naomi said. And it didn't. This woman had been a symptom of Derek's problems, not the cause. "I heard about the business. About everything." Candace looked uncomfortable. "I know people think it was brutal, but I get it. They lied to you. They used you." "Yes, they did. For what it's worth, Derek was miserable after I left. He kept calling me begging for another chance. But I could see what he was. A man who wanted someone to save him. I didn't want that job." "Neither did I," Naomi said. "Not anymore." Candace managed a small smile. "You look good. Happy." "I am. I'm glad. You deserve it." They parted ways. Naomi continued shopping, but the encounter stayed with her. Even Candace had seen the truth eventually. Derek was a man who wanted to be rescued. He wanted someone to fix his problems, fund his dreams, make his life easier. He had never wanted an equal partner. He had wanted a support system with legs. That evening, Naomi cooked dinner in her beautiful apartment. She video called Shanice while she was making pasta. "You look amazing," Shanice said. "Glowing." "I feel amazing," Naomi admitted. "I love my job. I love my apartment. I love my life." "Is that weird? To love your own life?" "Girl, that's the goal. That's what everyone should be aiming for. I just keep thinking about the woman I was a year ago. Married to Derek, living in that house, thinking I was happy. I had no idea how small I was making myself." "You're not small now. You're magnificent." After they hung up, Naomi sat on her balcony watching the city lights. She thought about everything that had happened. The pain, the betrayal, the fight, the victory. All of it had led her here. To this moment, this life, this version of herself. She wouldn't change it. Not even if she could. Because this Naomi, strong, independent, thriving, was worth every painful step of the journey. Her phone buzzed. An email from a potential client. A tech startup looking for a full marketing strategy. Another opportunity. Another chance to build something great. Naomi smiled and started typing her response. The divorce was finalized on a Thursday in October. Naomi signed the papers in Jennifer's office with a steady hand. Derek signed remotely through his lawyer. They didn't see each other. Didn't speak. After 5 years of marriage, it ended with signatures on legal documents. Clinical. Impersonal. Exactly how it should be. "Congratulations," Jennifer said, sliding a final copy across the desk. "You're officially divorced. The house sale went through last week. Your half of the proceeds, $82,000, will be deposited into your account by Monday." "What about Derek's half?" "Goes to pay down his debts. He's still in bankruptcy proceedings. It'll be years before he's financially stable again." Naomi nodded. She felt no satisfaction in that. No joy. Just a quiet acknowledgement of reality. "There's one more thing," Jennifer said. She pulled out another document. "Derek signed over all rights to any future claims against you. He can't sue you later. Can't come back for more money. Can't contest anything. It's completely finished." "Good." Jennifer studied her. "You're handling this well. A lot of my clients fall apart at this stage." "I fell apart a year ago," Naomi said, "when I found my suitcases in the rain. I don't have any more tears for Derek or his family. I'm just ready to move on." She left the office feeling lighter. She had carried the weight of that marriage for so long. Now it was gone. Dissolved. Behind her, Bennett Creative Solutions was thriving. They had taken on 2 new employees and moved to a larger office space. Naomi's calendar was booked solid with client meetings and strategy sessions. She was making more money than she ever had at her previous job, and she was building something that could last for decades. She had also started mentoring young women in marketing. She gave talks at local colleges about entrepreneurship. She shared her story, not the painful details but the lesson, that you could lose everything and rebuild even stronger. One of her ments, a college senior named India, asked her during a coffee meeting, "What do you wish someone had told you when you were my age?" Naomi thought about it. I wish someone had told me that my value isn't determined by how useful I am to other people. That I don't have to make myself smaller to make someone else comfortable. That saying no is powerful. That leaving is sometimes the bravest thing you can do. India nodded, taking notes on her phone. Also, Naomi added, keep your own bank account. Document everything. And never invest money you're not willing to lose. India laughed. That's specific. I learned it the hard way. 3 weeks after the divorce was final, Naomi received an unexpected call. It was from Robert, Derek's father. She almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Hello? Naomi. It's Robert. He sounded old, tired. I hope I'm not bothering you. What do you want, Robert? I want to apologize. For everything. For how we treated you. For what we said. For letting Patricia lead us into such terrible behavior. Naomi sat down. She hadn't expected this. Okay. I know it's too late. I know sorry doesn't fix anything. But I needed you to know that I see it now. How wrong we were. You saved our business. You were good to Derek. And we repaid you with cruelty. I'm ashamed. Thank you for saying that, Naomi said carefully. But it doesn't change anything. I know. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to hear it from me. You deserved better than you got from this family. After he hung up, Naomi sat with the phone in her hand for a long time. Robert's apology was unexpected. It didn't erase what happened, but it acknowledged the truth. Sometimes that was all you could hope for. She thought about calling him back. About saying something kind. But she didn't. Some wounds were too deep for kindness to bridge. Robert would have to live with his regrets and she would live with her freedom. Fair trade. She went back to work, focusing on a campaign for a new boutique hotel opening downtown. Jordan had designed stunning visuals. Tasha had created a social media strategy that was going viral. Bennett Creative Solutions was becoming known for innovative, effective work. Naomi was building a reputation. Her name. Her legacy. Not as Derek's wife. Not as the woman who destroyed Anderson Family Enterprises. As Naomi Bennett, entrepreneur, creative director, businesswoman. That was worth more than all the settlements and apologies combined. One evening she was working late when Tasha knocked on her office door. Boss, you need to see something. Tasha pulled up an article on her laptop. Anderson Family Enterprises officially declared bankruptcy today. The assets were sold at auction. Derek's parents are moving to a smaller house in the suburbs. Derek is working construction for another company now. Entry-level position. Naomi read the article. It was factual neutral. Just the basic details of a business failure. No mention of her lawsuit. No drama. Just an ending. How do you feel? Tasha asked. I feel nothing, Naomi said honestly. Is that cold? No. It's healthy. You moved on. They're still dealing with consequences. That's how it should be. After Tasha left, Naomi turned off her computer and looked around her office. Framed awards from successful campaigns. Photos of her team. A vision board showing her 5-year plan for the agency. This was her empire. Small but growing. Built on her talent, her hard work, her vision. Derek had once told her she wasn't ambitious enough. That she was too comfortable at her job. That she would never take the risks necessary to build something great. He had been wrong about everything. She packed up her laptop and headed home. Tomorrow she had a meeting with a potential investor. A venture capitalist who was interested in funding expansion. Bennett Creative Solutions could go regional. Maybe even national. The possibilities were endless. Her phone buzzed. A text from Anthony, the teacher she had dated briefly. Jazz festival next weekend. Want to go as friends? She smiled. Yes, that sounds perfect. She was building a life filled with people who valued her. Work she loved. A future that excited her. Derek and his family were in her past. A cautionary tale. A lesson learned. But they weren't her present. And they definitely weren't her future. Naomi Bennett had moved on. And she had never looked back. Bennett Creative Solutions celebrated its first anniversary with a party in their office. Naomi had ordered catering from a local restaurant and champagne that was probably too expensive for a small business celebration. But she didn't care. They had survived their first year. They had thrived. Jordan, Tasha, and the 3 new employees they had hired raised their glasses as Naomi gave a toast. A year ago this was just an idea. A crazy dream I had at 2 in the morning. I didn't know if it would work. I didn't know if anyone would take a chance on a new agency. But you all believed in this vision. You all worked incredibly hard. And because of that, we're not just surviving, we're growing. So thank you. For everything. They clinked glasses and drank. The champagne was crisp and perfect. Naomi felt a swell of pride. This was hers. She had built this. The next morning, she met with the venture capitalist, a woman named Simone who ran a fund focused on minority-owned businesses. "I've been watching your growth," Simone said, scrolling through her tablet. "You've increased revenue by 300% in your first year. You've retained every client. You've won 2 industry awards. That's impressive. Thank you. I want to invest $500,000 for a 15% stake. We'll help you expand into 3 more cities. Set up satellite offices. Hire regional teams. In 5 years, Bennett Creative Solutions could be a multi-million-dollar agency." Naomi's heart raced. $500,000. Expansion. Growth. Everything she had been dreaming about. "I'd like to think about it," she said carefully. "I want to review the terms with my lawyer." "Smart," Simone said approvingly. "Take a week. But don't take too long. Opportunities like this don't wait forever." Naomi left the meeting in a daze. She called Jennifer immediately. "Someone wants to invest in my company. $500,000. That's fantastic. Send me the terms. I'll review them." Naomi also called Shanice, who screamed so loud Naomi had to pull the phone away from her ear. "You're about to be rich. Like actually rich." "I'm already comfortable," Naomi corrected. "This would just be expansion money. Girl, you went from being kicked out in the rain to building an empire in less than 2 years. That's amazing." Naomi thought about that. Shanice was right. 2 years ago, she had been standing on a porch in the rain, watching everything she thought was her life get taken away. Now she was negotiating investment deals and planning regional expansion. The contrast was staggering. Jennifer called back that evening. "The terms are good. Fair equity stake, no weird clauses, and Simone's fund has a great reputation. I think you should do it." Naomi signed the agreement the following week. $500,000 flowed into Bennett Creative Solutions' business account. They began planning the expansion immediately. Atlanta first, then Charlotte, then Houston. 3 new markets, 3 new offices, dozens of new employees. Naomi traveled constantly, setting up operations, interviewing candidates, meeting with potential clients. It was exhausting and exhilarating. She was building something bigger than she had ever imagined. In Atlanta, she hired a creative director named Monique who had 15 years of experience at major agencies. In Charlotte, she found a social media expert named Carlos who had viral campaigns under his belt. In Houston, she recruited a team of designers fresh out of top art schools, hungry and talented. Bennett Creative Solutions was becoming a name, a brand, a force. Naomi also invested her personal settlement money wisely. She bought a condo. Not a rental. She bought it outright with cash. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a view of the river. It was hers. No mortgage. No Derek's name on the deed. Just her name. She furnished it slowly, carefully, choosing pieces she loved. She hung art on the walls. She bought plants and actually kept them alive. She made it a home. She also started taking better care of herself. She hired a personal trainer. Started eating healthier. Not because anyone was judging her, but because she wanted to feel strong. She joined a yoga studio. Took weekend hiking trips. Learned to paddleboard. She was inhabiting her life fully. No longer just surviving. Thriving. One Sunday afternoon, she was at a bookstore when she ran into Patricia. Derek's mother looked smaller somehow. Older. She was wearing jeans and a plain sweater. No designer labels. No expensive jewelry. Patricia saw her and froze. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Patricia turned and walked the other way. Naomi felt a strange mix of emotions. Relief that they didn't have to interact. Sadness at how it had all ended. But mostly she felt nothing. Patricia was part of her past. A person who had hurt her. But that hurt had shaped her into someone stronger. She bought her books and went home, putting Patricia out of her mind. That night, she video called her Aunt Ruth, her father's sister who had helped raise her after her parents died. "Look at you," Ruth said, beaming. "You look happy, baby. Really happy." "I am, Auntie. I really am. Your grandmother would be so proud. You took the money she left you, and even though someone tried to steal it, you fought back. You built something beautiful. That's what she would have wanted." Naomi felt tears prick her eyes. "I wish she could see this. She can, baby. She can." After they hung up, Naomi thought about her grandmother. The woman who had worked 2 jobs to give Naomi opportunities. Who had saved every penny so Naomi could go to college. Who had left her that inheritance as a safety net. Derek had tried to take that from her. His family had tried to steal what her grandmother had sacrificed for. But Naomi had fought back. She had honored her grandmother's sacrifice by refusing to let anyone diminish her. She poured herself a glass of wine and sat on her balcony. The city sparkled below her. Thousands of lights. Thousands of lives. She was one small person in this vast city, but she had carved out a space that was entirely hers. Her phone buzzed. An email from a reporter at a business magazine. They wanted to feature Bennett Creative Solutions in an article about successful minority-owned businesses. Naomi smiled. Recognition. Validation. Proof that she had built something that mattered. She wrote back immediately, agreeing to the interview. As she sat there watching the city lights, Naomi realized something profound. She didn't think about Derek anymore. Days would go by without him crossing her mind. When she did remember him, it was distant. Like a story that happened to someone else. She had moved on completely. Not just physically or financially. Emotionally. She was free of him in every way that mattered. That realization was more valuable than any settlement or business success. It was the ultimate victory. Not destroying him. Not taking his money. But becoming so fully herself that he was irrelevant. She raised her wine glass to the city lights. To freedom. To new beginnings. To the life she had built from ashes. "Here's to me," she whispered. "I did it." And she had. Against all odds, despite all the pain, she had built an empire. Not just a business. An entire life. Strong and beautiful and entirely her own. The business conference was held at a luxury hotel downtown. Bennett Creative Solutions had been invited to speak on a panel about innovative marketing strategies. Naomi had been nervous about public speaking, but Monique had encouraged her. "You're the face of this company. People need to hear your story. How you built this from nothing." So Naomi had agreed. She wore a sharp black pantsuit and her favorite heels. Her hair was styled in natural curls. She looked polished, professional, successful. The panel went well. She spoke confidently about their growth strategy, their approach to client relationships, their commitment to diverse hiring. When the moderator asked about challenges she had faced, she kept it professional. "Starting a business is always risky. But I learned that betting on yourself is the best investment you can make. Even when other people don't believe in you, you have to believe in yourself." The audience applauded. Afterward, several people approached her with business cards, wanting to schedule consultations. She was networking with a potential client when she saw him. Derek. He was across the conference hall, standing near the coffee station. He looked better than the last time she had seen him. Still not great, but better. His suit was off the rack, not the designer labels he used to wear. His hair was starting to thin. He looked tired but not defeated. Their eyes met across the room. She saw him freeze. Saw the recognition dawn on his face. She could have walked away. Could have ignored him. But something made her stay put. She wasn't going to run from him. Those days were over. Derek approached slowly, like someone approaching a wild animal. "Naomi." "Hi." "Derek." Her voice was neutral. Polite. The voice she used with strangers. "You look amazing. I saw you on that panel. You were incredible." "Thank you." Awkward silence. Derek shifted his weight from foot to foot. "I didn't know you started your own company." "I did. About 18 months ago." "That's great. Really great." He seemed to be gathering courage for something. "Listen, I know you don't want to talk to me. I know I have no right to ask anything of you. But I'm glad I ran into you. I've wanted to say something for a long time." Naomi waited. Not encouraging him but not walking away either. "I was wrong," Derek said. His voice was quiet. "About everything. About the affair. About how I treated you. About letting my family treat you the way they did. I was a coward and an idiot, and I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me. Okay. I know it's too late. I know you've moved on. I can see that. You're thriving. You're successful. You're exactly who you were supposed to become. But I need you to know that I see it now. How incredible you are. How much I took you for granted." Naomi studied him. She saw sincerity in his eyes. But she also saw desperation. The look of a man who had lost everything and was finally understanding what he had lost. "I appreciate you saying that," she said carefully. "But it doesn't change anything." "I know. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to hear it." "Derek, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "When you kicked me out that day, did you ever think about what would happen to me? Did you care where I would go? If I would be okay?" Derek looked down. "I thought you'd be fine. You always landed on your feet. And honestly, I was too focused on Candace and what I wanted to even think about it. That's what I thought. Naomi nodded. You didn't see me as a person. You saw me as a convenience. Someone who made your life easier. And when I wasn't convenient anymore, you threw me away. Yes, Derek admitted. That's exactly what I did. I'm not telling you this to hurt you, Naomi continued. I'm telling you because I need you to understand something. What happened to you after that, losing the business, losing your family's money, losing everything, that wasn't revenge. That was you experiencing the consequences of your choices. You stole from me. You betrayed me. You treated me like I was worthless. All I did was take back what was mine. I know. Do you? Because your mother posted on Facebook that I was vindictive. Your father called me heartless. You sent me messages saying I was destroying your family out of spite. None of you ever acknowledged that you destroyed yourselves. Derek was quiet for a long moment. You're right. We blamed you because it was easier than admitting we were wrong. It's easier to make you the villain than to face what we did. I'm not the villain, Derek. And I'm not the hero either. I'm just a woman who refused to let people steal from her. That's all this ever was. For what it's worth, Derek said, I'm proud of you. For everything you've built. For being strong enough to leave. For becoming this version of yourself. Thank you, Naomi said. But I need you to understand something else. I didn't become this person because you left me. I became this person despite you. For 5 years, I made myself smaller so you could feel bigger. I gave up my dreams so yours could thrive. I sacrificed constantly. And you took it all for granted. When you forced me out, you actually gave me a gift. You gave me the chance to remember who I was before you. And it turns out I like her a lot better. Derek's eyes were watery now. I'm sorry. I know you are. But sorry doesn't fix anything. It doesn't give me back 5 years. It doesn't erase the pain. It just means you finally understand what you lost. Is there any chance? Derek started. No, Naomi said firmly. There's no chance. Not now. Not ever. I've moved on, Derek. Completely. You're part of my past and that's where you'll stay. I understand. Derek wiped his eyes. I just thought I should ask. Try one more time. Now you know. And you can stop wondering. A potential client approached Naomi with a business card. She turned to them with a professional smile, effectively dismissing Derek. When she glanced back, he was walking away. His shoulders slumped. His whole posture screaming defeat. She felt a twinge of something. Not pity exactly. Not satisfaction either. Just a quiet acknowledgement that this chapter was finally, truly closed. She had said everything she needed to say. He had heard it. It was done. The potential client introduced herself as the CMO of a major retail chain. Your panel presentation was fascinating. We're looking for a creative agency to rebrand our stores. Would Bennett Creative Solutions be interested in pitching? Naomi focused completely on the conversation. This was her life now. New clients. New opportunities. Forward momentum. She scheduled a meeting for the following week. They exchanged information. The woman walked away smiling. Naomi looked around the conference hall. Hundreds of professionals networking, making deals, building connections. She was one of them now. A successful entrepreneur. A respected voice in her industry. Not Derek's ex-wife. Not the woman who destroyed Anderson Family Enterprises. Just Naomi Bennett, CEO of a thriving marketing agency. She spent the rest of the conference networking, collecting business cards, scheduling follow-up meetings. By the end of the day, she had 6 potential new clients and an invitation to speak at another conference in Atlanta. On her way out, she passed the coffee station where she had talked to Derek. He was gone, of course. Probably back to his entry-level construction job. His small apartment. His diminished life. She felt no triumph in that. No satisfaction. Just the knowledge that their paths had diverged completely. He was going one direction. She was going another. They would never intersect again. In the car, she called Monique. The conference was excellent. I have 6 potential leads and another speaking invitation. Boss, you're a star. I told you public speaking would pay off. You were right. And Monique, thank you. For believing in this company. For believing in me. You make it easy to believe. That evening, Naomi went home to her condo. She kicked off her heels and poured herself wine. She stood at her window looking out at the city she had claimed as her own. Her phone buzzed with notifications. New connections on LinkedIn. Follow-up emails from people she had met. A text from Shanice asking how the conference went. She responded to the important ones. ignored the rest. She had learned to prioritize her energy, her time, her attention. She opened her laptop and checked Bennett Creative Solutions accounts. Revenue was up 23% from last quarter. Their Atlanta office had just signed 2 major clients. Charlotte was exceeding projections. Houston was building momentum. Everything she had built was thriving. She thought about Derek's words. "I'm proud of you." She didn't need his pride. Didn't need his approval or validation. But it was nice to know he understood finally what he had thrown away. She pulled up her business plan for the next 5 years. National expansion. International clients. Maybe franchising the model. Teaching other entrepreneurs how to build agencies. The possibilities were endless. Exciting. Completely within her control. Naomi closed her laptop and raised her wine glass to her reflection in the window. "To me," she said softly, "for being brave enough to leave. For being strong enough to fight. For being smart enough to build something beautiful from the wreckage." She drank and felt the wine warm her from the inside. Tomorrow she had meetings, pitches, strategy sessions, a company to run, an empire to expand. But tonight she would rest, celebrate quietly, acknowledge how far she had come. From the woman crying in a hotel room 18 months ago to the CEO of a successful company. From devastated and broken to whole and thriving. From someone who had lost everything to someone who had built an empire. Derek had said she always landed on her feet. He had been wrong about that too. She hadn't just landed on her feet. She had soared. And she was never coming back down. Naomi Bennett had won. Not by destroying Derek. Not by taking revenge. But by refusing to let his betrayal define her. By choosing herself. By building a life so full and beautiful that he became irrelevant. That was the ultimate victory. And she was